How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. I go on this channel to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Over on Dixie for the daily, we are trying to push forward, so we did see crypto sell off. Remember, they are inversely related. That's why we cover it very quick. VWAP does want to push forward. That yellow wave is trying to break that neutral. If it holds above neutral, we could see momentum. Our blue wave push forward. That money flow is red currently, so I would watch. If that VWAP can hold that neutral territory and become more bullish, we could see momentum push money flow higher. Our stochastic, our double line here, does want to push forward. We do have blue above orange, that is positive. If we can stay above 30, we could see that RSI, our red line, push forward and bring our Dixie further up. So I would watch. We did fill a gap. There is a potential for us to make a bounce now. Now on Bitcoin dominance, we are seeing a push forward. We'll zoom out here. That way you can get your Fibonacci, or not your Fibonacci, doing it again, apparently repeat last night. Your fixed range volume profile. So your fixed range volume profile, remember, has this value area high, your point of control, and your value area low. Our stochastic does want to push forward. VWAP does have higher highs. We do have higher lows. That is positive. If that VWAP can continue with higher highs and higher lows here and stay above neutral, momentum will gain strength. Money flow would remain bullish, and we could see Dixie continue forward, or the dominance continue forward. That would help push Bitcoin ahead of altcoins, which would mean if we're seeing losses, Bitcoin would lose less than altcoins while dominance increases. Remember, dominance isn't going to tell you if Bitcoin's going to go up or down. Over on total for the daily, we did reject our 602 area. I would exercise caution. At this point, I am going to delete that channel. I will also delete this. Actually, I'll leave this consolidation range because we stayed within our consolidation range. Unlock it so we can kind of drag it over, lock it again. So we are still trading within this range where we have struggled with in previous markets. If we zoom out, this is the area we broke away from when we created the bear market, or at least the last previous bear market. Now we are pushing back down toward that 250 and 300 EMA, a gray and black line. I would watch out. If we break those, we could see altcoins sell off. Our VWAP is trying to break neutral. Momentum is running with a double red dot. Stochastic wants to break down. RSI is pushing down. So I would exercise caution. Over on the 4-hour, we are retesting that 300 EMA. This does look positive if we bounce and hold above 602 from here. If we do not make higher highs and higher lows by breaking above that 602 and pushing away from that golden pocket, then the bears will gain control and continue to drop us away. RSI is selling off, stochastic's pulling back, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum's pushing down, money flow does want to pull back, so I would exercise caution, watch lower time frames. If they start favoring bearish, we could see a trend reversal. Over on this 2-hour, RSI is pulling back, stochastic selling off. We are pretty beat down on that stochastic. VWAP is favoring bearish, struggling to get over that neutral, so I would watch. If we don't get strong highs with stronger lows, we will see momentum remain bearish, money flow will continue to pull back, and higher time frames will start to weaken soon. Over on the 1-hour, we are dipping into the red with that money flow, so watch that VWAP close. If we get another weak wave like back here, we will see that VWAP reject, see consistent or lower lows, momentum would remain bearish, money flow would sell off, and that will weaken higher time frames and give us the potential to break that 300 EMA. Right around that 587. If we break that level, we could start to cascade downward. Sorry about that, if we do not meet any decent support. So over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we did push up to our 65.5 like we said to watch for, and now we are rejecting. So I would watch. If we pull back to the 61,790 and we do not make a bounce, we could see the bearish breakdown of our rising channel. Remember, rising channels do break you down, where bullish continuations push you forward. And the difference is if the highs and lows connect, if they do, it's a rising channel. Our stochastic wants to pull back, RSI is starting to sell off, momentum is rounding, VWAP is pulling back, money flow is selling off. So overall, I would exercise caution, watch lower time frames. I believe we do have a gap to fill. Over on the 4-hour, we are rounding away. Watch for a retest of that 300. If we bounce and continue with a higher high, that would be positive. We do have a slight gap above us, so that could set us up for a push forward. Again, watch for any gaps below us though, because we could fill those first. Stochastic is pulling back, momentum is rounding, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is breaking bearish, and money flow wants to flip, so I would watch very close. Over on the 2-hour, we did have a gap right there. We did fill that. We do have a gap below our channel right at that 56, 57K level. So that's the gap we're kind of hinting at. Watch for that gap. If we reject this channel, that's likely our next stop. Momentum does want to pull back, RSI is selling off, stochastic is dropping away, VWAP is favoring bearish, so I would exercise caution. Remember, futures does lead Bitcoin. Over on the 1 hour, we are starting to just slide away, rejecting EMAs, so I would watch. If we continue to reject EMAs, it's likely we could slide under our band and see an EMA band reversal where the lower EMAs, the green and blue, start to go below the black and gray. RSI is pulling back, stochastic is selling off, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is breaking down. I would watch that money flow. It's on the edge of flipping from green to red. Sorry about that, hit the wrong key, but we're done with that anyway. So if that money flow breaks down, we could end up seeing futures slide, and that could lead Bitcoin lower. So over on Bitcoin, we did have a potential to run up. We did kind of wick out of this pattern, and we pulled back. We can jump to the 1 hour. You can see we did warn last night that you needed to break on that next touch up. We got our next touch up, and we rejected. So if you were watching for that, we did warn in the Discord afterwards that we could break our support level, and we are seeing that. So I would exercise caution here. Our stochastic is pulling back, RSI is selling off, that VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is pushing down, and money flow is starting to favor bearish, so watch that VWAP close. If it continues to favor bearish here, we will see the 1 hour weaken higher time frames. The 2 hour money flow is pulling back, VWAP is favoring more bearish, momentum is dropping down. So if that 1 hour does not reverse soon, we likely will see higher time frames start to break away. So over on graph for the daily, we are rounding away to our support of our 16,316. Stochastic is dropping down with orange above blue, RSI is pulling back, momentum is rounding, that VWAP does want to break, watch that VWAP close. Remember, if it gets lower lows and lower highs, momentum will break down, money flow would continue to sell off, and we would continue a bearish trend reversal. Over on the 4 hour, we did hit that 300 EMA there again, and we did reject. Then we got a manipulation X that broke that support, so I would exercise caution. This could set us up to drop to that 4,316 or 14,316, sorry. And if we continue to drop very quick, we could see a retracement bounce forward. Remember, if you go up very quick, like back here, you can sell off very quick. So our RSI is pulling back, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping down, money flow is starting to pull back, so watch that VWAP close. Over on the 2 hour, we are struggling with resistance. We tried to break up, and then we got indecision candle after getting a long upper shadow candle. So I would exercise caution. This could set us up to test that 300 EMA. And if we do not bounce and then break that 16,316 right after, it's very likely bears will push us down. VWAP is trying to favor bearish, momentum is breaking down, money flow is pulling back, RSI and stochastic are pulling back as well. So I would exercise caution. The 2 hour doesn't look very hopeful. Over on our 1 hour, RSI is starting to pull back as stochastic favors oversold. VWAP is struggling to get over that neutral. Watch that VWAP close. Again, if we reject getting a lower high, we will see bears remain in control, pulling money flow lower and weakening higher time frames, which will lead to a further breakdown. Over on Ankr for the daily, we did reject, sorry about that. We did reject that point control on our fixed range volume profile. So we are likely going to push down to the value area low. Stochastic is selling off, RSI is pulling back, momentum is running away with a red dot, and that VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory. So I would watch if that VWAP continues and gets lower lows and lower highs from here. Momentum will break down, money flow would reject. So watch those lower time frames. If you see that trend where VWAP is favoring under that neutral, we will see a further sell-off. That's that yellow wave. Momentum is breaking down here on the 4 hour, money flow is pulling back. Our RSI is starting to sell off, and we did break that resistance very quick. Again, a quick move down could be retraced, but it doesn't have to happen right away. Over on the 2 hour, we did break through our 300 EMA. We are starting to curl, so I would watch for a retest. If we get a retest and rejection and we fail to get above that 2673, it's likely we will push down to our 2338. But if we do break and hold that 2673, we will push back to our 2883, and we need to hold and push above that to continue forward. VWAP does want to push that neutral. I would watch. Momentum does have a double green dot. Money flow wants to bounce. Stochastic is trying to head forward, and the RSI does want to gain some strength. Over on the 1 hour, we do have some consolidation going, so I would watch. If we continue to consolidate after getting that push down, that can create a bear flag that could push us down. I would say right around our next consolidation range, so possibly this 25.56. And if we do not hold that range, we have another one right around that 25.10. Stochastic is starting to kind of curl, so I would keep a close eye on that stochastic. VWAP is starting to struggle as well, so watch that VWAP. If we get higher highs and higher lows, we can push forward. But if that VWAP continues to ride this neutral area, we may see it remain more bearish, money flow would continue to sell off, and higher time frames will start to slip. So over on XRP for the daily, we are starting to see a rejection here as well. We did want to break on that third break, and we are seeing a pullback. So I am going to delete this pattern on the hopes of a bullish break, as the rest of the market does look like it could pull back. So it's likely XRP could follow. And usually after that third break, if you don't get your break up, you usually reject your pattern. Stochastic does want to round away with orange above blue. RSI is pulling back. Momentum is selling off with the red dot as that VWAP breaks bearish and money flow is rounding. So I would exercise caution there. Over on our 4 hour, we are trying to make a bullish engulfing candle, stopping short though, so I would watch. VWAP does want to break that neutral. Momentum is struggling. Money flow is kind of in between, so watch that VWAP close. If we can break that neutral and hold, we could see momentum push money flow further. However, if this VWAP rejects, we will continue to sell off, possibly breaking that 57 and pushing to our 54. Our RSI on our 2 hour does want to push up, stochastic is pushing up. VWAP does want to break neutral. Momentum has a double green dot that does want to push forward, so watch that VWAP. If we get higher highs and higher lows from here, money flow can push us forward, and we can make a strong bounce off that 300 EMA and continue forward. We would need to break on the top side of our EMA band and hold if we're going to run up from here though. Over on our 1 hour, we aren't quite as lucky as the 2 hour. We are still approaching that 300 EMA, so watch very close. If we do not get back above it, it's likely we will reject away. Stochastic does want to round, RSI is starting to round. VWAP is running forward with a higher high, so that does look positive, but I would watch as that VWAP is starting to round off. Momentum is favoring bearish, but trying to push up as that VWAP breaks forward. So if that VWAP can stay bullish, momentum could lead money flow higher, but if that VWAP breaks and gets a lower or consistent low, I would watch for it to favor. If it does favor more bearish at that point, then we could reject and push down. So that's kind of the two scenarios you want to watch for. Over on ALGO for the daily, we are rounding away, retesting that 1350 like we said you could see. Stochastic is dropping down, RSI is pulling back, momentum is rounding with the double red dot, VWAP is breaking bearish, watch that close, and money flow is starting to pull back, so if that VWAP continues bearish, money flow could break down. Over on our 4 hour, RSI is pulling back, money flow is starting to pull its way down, so I would watch if that VWAP continues to favor bearish here. Momentum will continue to favor bearish as well. Money flow will break down. Higher time frames will start to weaken, and that could give us a push to that 1032. I would exercise caution if we do not hold around that 1032, because remember that is an all-time low. So over on the 2 hour, we are struggling here. We could make a flag. Remember, consolidation after a breakdown does create a bear flag that can push you lower. This may push us right around this 1301. RSI is starting to pull back. VWAP is struggling, so watch that VWAP close. Money flow is struggling too, so if that VWAP can hold bullish and stay there, we could push forward, see money flow flip. However, if that VWAP rejects, watch for a stronger wave like back here. If we see a stronger wave like back here, price action will start to break down. Over on our 1 hour, we are struggling with the EMAs here as well. Starting to see a little bit of a flicker down, so I would exercise caution. Watch if we break this EMA band. If we do, that's where we could start that slide. Stochastic does want to round away. RSI is pulling back. VWAP wants to break bullish, but it's not very strong, so I would watch very close. If that VWAP fails to hold bullish here, we will see momentum curl, money flow will remain bearish, and higher time frames will start to get that bearish flip and start to break down. So I would exercise caution and pay very close attention to lower time frames. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. I appreciate all of you.